really got to sign up for a Pilates class. Holy crap. Yeah, that working stuff. Whoa.
That's good, isn't it? Maybe they just have a twerking class.
Twerking salsa Pilates.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
Are we okay now? Okay, so anyway, you just watched the Bad Bunny halftime performance. That was the 13 minutes that shook Magadum to its core. There are Republican lawmakers who want an investigation of this illegal halftime. I kid you not.
On what grounds are they calling this illegal?
Well, they illegal because it was indecent. It was not in English. There was a lot of crotch grabbing as a Michael Jordan. Yeah, baseball or Michael Jordan.
Jackson.
Jackson. Oh, I keep saying Jordan. Basketball. Wrong sport. And what was the other thing? The indecent costuming, which really has Beyonce danced in anything, or Miley Cyrus, or the cheerleaders of any major league team? Have you not seen them in similar wear?
The Grammys.
The Grammys, yeah, exactly. So to counter this, the right put on, it was Turning Point, the Charlie Kirk group, put on an alternate show starring Kid Rock, whose lyrics to some of his songs are so disgusting. They promote pedophilia. Oh, that theme again. And it was very badly organized. They forgot to get the licensing for streaming. So it was only seen by a fraction of the millions who saw this show. And overwhelmingly on the internet, if you read it, or maybe it's because of the algorithms I have, who knows anymore, the talk was of joy and pride and unity and diversity and white clothes that don't have any spots on it. How the heck did they do that? Yeah. So I'm interested in your responses.
So then at the very end, he goes, "God bless America," and that an A-list.
And all the Spanish.
Listen, every country,
world.
no, not Spanish, they were all the countries in North and South America, North, Central, and South America. Yes,
Well, yeah.
because America is not alone. It's a counter to the America First idea.
So when we go to Puerto Rico, as Donald Trump would try to say it, we're expected to speak. We expect them to speak English to us.
We expect that every country we go to.
Well-
I was in Mongolia and I wanted English speakers.
And in fact, in some cases, it's not totally unreasonable, but in the case of Puerto Rico, I think it is, because it's an American
Territory.
territory.
Spanish is another American
So
language.
maybe
It is.
if they become a state, maybe then.
Well,
they'll
they should
speak
become a
English.
state. That's been a big deal for a long time.
Fight for a long
Republicans don't want it because,
Because they'd be
They lose.
Democratic voters overwhelmingly.
But there are as many Spanish speakers as English speakers in this country, and it's going to overtake
Yeah.
English in this country,
What's
in
it-
the
what
United
is-
States, Spanish.
Spanish, well,
And so I
Yeah.
consider it a second language of
But-
this country.
yeah.
But you know what, though, when you say that, that's what really sets their hair
Yeah.
on fire.
Right.
This was the first year in which
Yeah.
recorded births of non-white parents outpaced those of white parents.
Are you
So,
surprised?
and mostly it's because of the earlier age and of Hispanic women, and they have more children.
Which is
So-
why this president and his party
Yes.
are trying to throw so many people out of the country. If you get 10 million people out of this country, 20, however many it is. I mean, on some days he says 30. But if you can get all those people out of the country, that's, I mean, Texas has already got the white population is a plurality, not a minority.
Right.
Not
Not a majority
majority.
anymore.
What's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah, and it's not unrelated to another topic we're going to talk about in a minute, which is voter suppression. Yeah, because there's fear of being overtaken. Yeah.
Were you aware of Ricky Martin's the lyrics that he was singing? Like there was something to the effect of "Don't do to Puerto Rico what you've done to Hawaii."
Oh, I
What's
don't know.
that again?
Don't do to Puerto Rico what you've done to Hawaii. So I
Oh,
guess it's about indigenous people.
Yeah, it's about colonization, imperialism.
Yeah.
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 So,
But
so
Americans expect, when I was traveling in France, this is the first time, I think partly because I'm older, and I was trying to speak French and they would answer in English and I would respond in French. And then that immediately made them more willing to accept me as an American and speak, you know?
Yes.
You try at least.
Yeah, because I was trying, and it's their country, it's their language.
It's just a sign of respect and,
Yeah, I
um,
always appreciate that.
and it's not racist, which is the real issue here. And if the reaction to this, Trump, as you will recall, came out with just an outrageous screed the morning after the Super Bowl, saying this was a disgrace and, disgusting. This was the worst halftime ever.
God, and it was so happy.
Yeah,
It
it was
was so,
full of
that's,
joy, yes.
that was my takeaway. I've been studying Spanish for 2 years, so that's
Yes.
kind of fun. I didn't understand a word of it, but I last year until my wife had some health problems, we were doing dance classes at the Y. Every month was a different dance, and the last dance, and the one I loved the most was the salsa.
Salsa.
And you can do a salsa for all that music.
Yeah.
And it was, so I did not watch it. This is the first time I actually watched it, but I listened to it yesterday because I wanted to know what we're talking about today. And I was doing spackling and I was working on a room, and I just found myself just dancing and having
Yeah.
a good time.
The Lady Gaga song is one she wrote, but she rearranged it into a salsa beat for this performance.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really, she's great. My favorite story connected to the halftime was my friend Susana Sanchez. She's an amazing designer and an artist, and is of Nicaraguan and Puerto Rican birth. And she was in the supermarket one day, and the woman and the other line, how the aisles are together, the woman on that aisle began talking about Bad Bunny and what a ridiculous thing it was to have a Spanish language halftime show. It was disgusting. And she goes, Bad Bunny will make you happy. And she begins doing the salsa. The other people in the line begin applauding, and they just shut up the Karen who was complaining. That's my favorite reaction to it.
Someone speaking, a French artist singing in French, people wouldn't have had a fit.
Of course not.
It's all because of,
No, someone,
Andre Botticelli, do we hate him?
no, if it was an Italian opera singer, no, it would come.
Right. We cut you off, sorry.
Well, at the Super Bowl, I think you would get some pushback from anyone that wasn't performing in English.
There have been other non-American, non-white Americans who have performed before. It just became an issue with
But
Trump
were
as
they
president.
performing in English?
That's a good question. I don't
I
know.
mean, to me, that's.
Can't have the things they sing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But I always thought it was this, I've been singing it like this all along, because I know.
Oh, we have to, this is pushback. This is the sort of thing we want to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
You see that they have a point. You're making a point.
No. I'm saying that's what sets them off.
Oh,
I don't have a dog in that fight.
Mhm.
It's just, it's gotta be English or it ain't American.
Wow.
That is the reaction.
He is the number one
Look at it.
streamed artist, musician.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
And worldwide, not
Worldwide.
just in America.
But
So,
but the world doesn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make an argument here in favor of corporatization, which we vilify all the time. Like, oh, it's ruining the media, which it is. It's ruining a whole lot of pollution, which it is. But the NFL said he gave the middle finger. The NFL gave the middle finger to Trump over this. This was about money. The NFL wanted a knockout halftime, and they got an artist who delivered it. And they didn't care about the politics of it. So you gotta say, we need to use corporations in ways that promote armies. Like they could do the actual climate change things that the government is backing away from. The companies could still do that on their own. So I applaud that.
That goes back.
In their own self-interest, but
That goes back to the bright spots.
yeah, it
I
does.
think
You're right.
he is getting chinks in his armor.
You're right. Although he responded to this shortly after by putting out a video that showed the Obamas,
Right.
the president,
Yeah.
the former president, first lady as apes, which is the worst racist trope.
And
I
that
mean,
created more chinks in his armor.
it did. He got criticism
Let
and
Trump be
backlash.
Trump
Yeah,
and
but nothing.
everything's gonna be okay, as long as he dies or is ousted soon enough.
Well, we'll hold that one for the election discussion. But my happy thing on this on the halftime show, which I have never watched the Super Bowl. It's terrible. It's so un-American. I only because I don't like watching spectator sports. It's just not my thing. But I did watch this after the fact. But I was in the YMCA locker room on Friday, and what I've noticed is that the people who talk loud in the locker room tend to be more conservative voices. All right, that's fine. All of a sudden, Bad Bunny comes up, and a guy who is let me put this into context. I'm about old enough to be his son, or he's old enough to be my father, because he mentioned that in the course of telling this story loud enough for the whole locker room to hear it, he said that he heard about the show, and he said, "I'm not going to watch this. I don't want to watch this. Why would I want to watch this?" And his son said, "Well, what's your problem with it, Dad?" And his 60-year-old son, and he said, "I don't understand the words." And I posted
You
this.
understand the words of.
Well, exactly. And so his son said to him, and I posted this on Facebook, he said, "Dad, do you like that song that goes on the chorus, a wop bop a loo ba a wop bam boom?" And you could feel the energy, the tension in the Y locker room was changing. And he said, "Yeah," I told him, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "Do you understand it, Dad?" I said, "No." "Do you like it?" "Yeah." And he just stopped the story right there. And he was right here. No, actually, he was here because I was getting dressed. I was just about to leave. I walked by him and I just looked at him and I said, "Touche, son. Touche, kid." And he goes, "Yeah." And he shut down that discussion real fast. It was good. And he was going to argue with I'm guessing 84, 80, 90-year-old guy. It was great.
I'm really interested in doing a podcast on this nexus between, or like mixed up a network between the arts and politics,
Yes.
because it does cut
Yes.
right through it.
Yes.
And we're seeing it, that's why Trump cares about architecture, about the Kennedy Center. He knows what he is doing when he launches his attacks on those institutions that are really none or have never been the purview of American president before.
But I think that's why music is so threatening.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
can love it and not understand a word.
Right.
So it is threatening. Just
Well,
by
look at the,
And it's unifying.
Yeah.
It's transcendent.
Yeah.
And that is something that they don't like. And that's what I posted about. It was just a passing thought, but what Turning Point USA did wasn't to have an alternate show. It was they saw an opportunity to milk this divide that the president had already created. And this is, I mean, what is Christian about that? And I realized that they are not, they're a Christian nationalist organization.
Right.
So this fit their narrative and their agenda, but it feels so unchristian.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very religious at all. To switch topics, because I want to move this along, there's another sports story that has intrigued me in this past week, and that's Lindsey Vonn, the skier, who was trying to make an Olympic comeback. She won a skiing gold medal in 2010, and at age 41, she was trying again. She is skiing on one titanium knee. She goes into practice and cuts or splits, injured her ACL on the other knee, and then decides she's going to go ahead with the race. And when she does, in the first few seconds of that race downhill, she has a horrible, horrible accident. She catches it. Holly, you probably understand the dynamics of this more than I do. I'm not a skier, but she ends up tumbling down the hill. Her legs are like pulled up and skis are crossed. She has a horrible broken leg, the same leg that she's blown the knee on. She's airlifted out. She's had 3 surgeries, is facing another one, and the possible amputation of her leg. So there are 2 schools of thought, and I talked on a post about one, but I actually see the point of both points of view. One is that how brave at 41 to say, I'm going to give it another try. I did great. I beat all the younger kids. I'm going to try it again. Good for me. It's never too late. Yay. Determination. And the other is how freaking selfish. How silly. What did that doctor say that gave her the idea that this was a good idea. She's saying now that the injury had nothing to do with the accident.
Yes, that's
And
right.
again, I'm not an expert, but it seems like they might be related. And was it worth it to risk your own health and maybe be maimed for life or
That's the
crippled for
smaller
life?
part of it to me.
Go ahead, please.
She took someone else's opportunity on a really low percentage probability. I mean, I don't know how she thought she was gonna do it, but I mean.
Well, they say,
I met
I have made that argument. I can say, why not give it to a teammate who would have a better chance and is healthier? But I am told, I don't know this to be true, that it's not like the other sports where there's an alternate, that had she not skied, nobody from the US would have skied. It's not like they had an alternate.
No, all right, well, I find it hard to believe, but maybe.
Yeah, me too.
But so I, believe it or not, do kind of vaguely remember being 41.
And that is the best line of the night.
Feel that old, I didn't, not dead yet.
Well, it's quite-
No, but your knee wasn't blown out.
That's true. You're
A
right.
few days before they were to leave, she blew her knee out.
It was just a few days?
Yeah, it was while she was
there.
there, while she was in Milan.
Yeah, 40-year-olds make stupid decisions just like every other age.
Yeah.
I got my second broken bone in my life at 42, actually, in the snow.
Yeah,
But it wasn't skiing.
it does happen.
It was riding bareback. I mean, that was stupid
Oh,
too.
wow.
I mean, had she done well, it would have been huge news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
But
What happened?
it was such a risk that.
Well, it's kind of like
Okay, well,
Alex Preddy with a gun in his back pocket.
yeah, dumb.
Hello, some things people shouldn't do.
Okay, well, here is the bigger, you said there were bigger issues. The bigger issue to me is what do we demand and expect of our athletes? If you remember at the last Olympics, Simone Biles, who is she is the best. She's the best gymnast of all time. And she had a mental breakdown, really. She was lost her positioning. And she dropped out. She said, I can't do it. And she really hurt the chances of her team. But she saved her own life and then went on. She took a lot of crap for that, a lot of criticism, sore loser. She's not in the game. She's un-American, blah, blah, blah. And then she went on and did the hard work of training for another 4 years, also older in the field than most of the other competitors, and then swept up all the gold in the next Olympics. She came back. Wasn't that a smarter decision than what Lindsey Vonn did? Why did Lindsey Vonn get all this praise about how brave and blah? She's such a great woman, and we all should be like that. And Simone Biles was criticized.
So
and-
my big question is, whose decision is it? Is there not, I mean, she's on Team USA, right? Does she have
coaches.
the only call on whether she skied or not? Or is there a larger body that could say, this isn't gonna work?
No, it's among the teammates that make it. But I mean, we don't know what the doctor.
Yeah,
told
that's what
her.
I'm just wondering, is like, why was she even allowed to ski?
Yeah. The team gets to decide that. I mean, a larger Olympic body decides. Remember the skier from Ukraine who had pictures of fallen his fellow athletes who had been killed in the war with Russia, and so the
So
team.
terrible about that. I thought
Well,
that was-
because they're trying to appease Russia. That's why you can't.
Yeah.
They weren't even there as a.
It was more of a political thing. He was
But
disqualified.
yes, a lot of the athletes have made political comments and stuff,
Yeah.
and they haven't been kicked off.
But the two things seem different to me
Yeah.
because that's politics,
Yeah.
and we can talk about how unfair and silly
No,
it is.
sure.
The other one is the body of a young athlete, of a person who is like made for life. The many people compared it to a gymnast. I've forgotten her name now. She was a vaulter for the U.S. team, and seriously hurt her ankle. She should have been pulled. It wasn't Shannon, I don't remember, but she seriously hurt her ankle. She should have been pulled, but it totally would have ruined America's chances. She was the only one at the level that could have beat the other team. And so she went on heavily taped. She manages to flip off of the equipment and land like touching, like with one toe, but that counted. And then she collapsed. and was really maimed and injured for a long, long time later. And she was hailed as a hero, which is what we're trying to do with Lindsey Vonn. Now, is that a good position to have?
I think there's room for both mentalities here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mentality that drives a 41-year-old woman who's got
Yeah.
a bad knee, possibly bad knee, to say, I can do this. And the mentality that drove Simone Biles to say, you know what, I'm not up to this. It's not good for me. I have to walk away from it.
Yeah.
And, that's an internal, it'll be interesting to hear. I watched her video, just thanking people for all the caring and the shark in back of her and everything. And I didn't see a particularly I didn't see a person who was self-obsessed or anything. I thought she really was talking to people honestly and warmly. And I think, and I listened to the breathing when she was up at the start of the jump. You could hear it. She was just pumping herself up. And then watching the thing, I was like, well, it's a ski accident. How bad could it be? And then I watched her going down, and my heart was in my throat the whole
He could
time.
lose a leg off.
But I give her the right to make that decision. If the rest of her team says we have confidence in you, go ahead.
It's the thing is the show must go on.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
They athletes and performers push themselves all the time for their audience.
It'll be interesting to see if she has when she gets some distance from this, if she feels she did the right thing or the wrong thing.
She has no regrets right now, she
Not now.
says. So.
So, I mean, when you say a hero, does that mean we're supposed to emulate her? Because.
Yes, we're supposed to admire what she did.
You know,
We're supposed to admire what she did.
I think it's, like you say, it's an individual decision and.
Okay, well, I have some
Oh,
baggage here
generalizing,
because
yeah.
I'm not a competitor myself, and people I
Nor
know,
am I.
athletes say, you don't understand competition at all. That's what you do. You go in, you fight through the pain, you play through the pain. Show must go on, as you would put it, and that's what you do if you're a competitor. I also don't like her because of dating Tiger Woods. And because when she won in 2010, she appeared on a Sports Illustrated cover. That's when Sports Illustrated was a big deal. And they rarely had women athletes on the cover. But Lindsey Vonn is a blonde, beautiful goddess. And so they pose her on a hill in the skin tight skiing uniforms with her butt up in the air. It was a completely sexualized picture. And she went along with it. So I have a lot of baggage with her, and maybe I'm just looking for bad things to say about her. And that's why I'm opening.
How old was she when that picture?
Well,
she wasn't
2000.
49.
So that's 25 years ago.
Yeah,
She was a girl.
20,
Yeah.
26. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, 26.
Oh, I can't do math without a pen on a piece of paper.
Oh, that's 15. Was she 16?
I think like
26, 36?
24. Yeah, 24.
If she's 30 now.
Yeah, she's 41 now.
41.
So.
Okay, so 25.
All right, so that's Lindsey Vonn. Now we're going to move on.
2010, not 2001.
Yeah,
Okay.
2010. Yes, it was 2010. Where I'm now going to move into the topic that Jay and I said this is probably the most important thing that we need to talk about, and that is the real effort to stop the midterms, to suppress the vote in the midterms, to nationalize elections, to do something to our elections, led by Donald Trump. And is it a real danger, or is it him just talking? What do you think?
Well, we wrote years ago. Our position had been that voter ID was designed to be a repressive thing, something to stifle the vote. But I pushed back on that one day in a meeting and said, I don't think most people would have an objection to this if they take some years to do it. Look how long we took with the Real ID thing. That's been going on for 10, 15 years that they were planning to do this. And they gave people the time and they said, look, the deadline is coming up and it's still everybody, waited until the last minute. A lot of people waited till the last minute, but they, when the government wants to do it right, they can. That's not what's happening now. And that's what's so troubling about
And
it
they're
is,
asking for birth certificate or passport. That's a lot more than, I mean, if it was a license, that's one thing.
Mhm.
I really don't terribly much object to showing my license. I mean, although in
No,
Pownell,
but the
everybody
passport-
does.
and now there's no
But your
reason.
passport or your
Right.
your birth certificate,
No.
a lot of people just don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to get a real ID from my wife. I think her renewal's coming up and they don't offer you a choice now. And I looked at the list and it was like, we have all that stuff. I got to dig it out. It's kind of a pain. And there is kind of a mental block to doing all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to do it. You got to do it. I can still get on a plane, but I'm going to have to bring my passport with me because my license doesn't expire till 29 or 30. It's, I think that I think he's planning a third term. I think he wants to do this. And I think the Republicans are fully on board. Hmm?
He'll
What's
be
that?
dead before then, she said.
Dad, he's on his way out.
Yeah,
I swear. He's
I don't know. He seems healthy to
You,
me.
you cannot rely
I've
on
always
that.
lost when I bet against them.
Yeah.
Have they changed the part, originally, you had to have the name you were originally born with, which for women is a big
Yeah.
problem because so many of us, I
That's
did
another,
not.
that's another
Change the
fact that
name.
they've been talking about it on.
Yeah, so is that still part of the law? It just passed the
Yeah,
House
so.
and I can't find it.
Yeah.
All right, so if you have changed your name, your birth certificate doesn't have your real name on it. What do you show?
Exactly.
Your marriage license?
Your marriage.
You have to have your birth certificate and your marriage license.
And-
Do you mind if I read a response somebody wrote to my Facebook about
You may.
this? It was
Read it loud though. So we
because
can hear.
one person sent me a really nasty, like, because I had posted something, it's like, stop pushing this kind of information. And my other friend wrote, real ID will not work in 40+ states, and even if it was sufficient, many elderly, such as my mom, chose not to get one because of the paperwork and time needed to go to the registry while she was caring for my father and would have to drag him with her. She renewed with a standard license at 86. Now 90, she just let her regular driver's license lapse because she doesn't use it. Luckily, she has a military ID with her photo. Many her age do not have official photo IDs, a requirement. Her passport has lapsed because she does not travel. I have no idea where her documents are. She cannot drive to register in person. This bill disenfranchises elderly from voting. Just one example of blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's another whole piece about the elderly. Yeah.
Bill Maher makes the point that, why are we fighting so hard on this? It's not that difficult to provide, proof. You do it every time you go to the supermarket now and you want to buy beer at Price Chopper. Why not to
But
vote?
that's not the
But
same
that's
proof.
not, it's not the same. It is not the same.
No, and if you have to prove citizenship, a military ID is not going to be enough.
Right.
Because a lot of people
Right.
serve, not a lot, but a surprising number of
Oh,
people
yeah.
serve in the military who are either green card holders
Yeah.
or I used to hang out with a guy up there when I was up in Augsburg on the border. He was a colonel, I think so, in the National Guard in New York. He was Canadian. You can be
Yeah.
a member of the Guard in New York, at least in New York, if not other places. I think you can be in the U.S. military if you're not a citizen. So the point being that they could just as easily disenfranchise anybody in the military too.
And then there's just the onus of there being a barrier. If you remember during the Jim Crow days, a poll tax or a poll test, the point is
Right.
we don't want you to vote. And that itself sets up a barrier that keeps people from
Yeah,
voting.
a town like New York City, I didn't have a driver's license till I was 20. And that was simply because I wanted to drive back to college, and then I didn't drive again until I was like 26, and then I didn't really start driving till I moved up here at the age of 40.
Right.
Okay, so that's me, white woman. But so any person of color in New York City who doesn't have a car and doesn't get a driver's license, because why would you? And and a lot of them don't have passports because they don't travel outside of the country.
Right.
So
Right.
it disenfranchises any inner city people of color who don't
Mhm.
drive or travel.
to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
that's-
point, good point.
That is the whole-
There is so little fraud, voter fraud in this country,
Yeah.
and most of it that's committed in the past few years has been by Republican candidates, by the way, not Democrats, and not by immigrants, not by people who are not allowed already by law not to vote. So you're right, all of this, all of these issues to solve a problem that does not really exist.
I think it might be your favorite Chuck Schumer who said, this is Jim Crow 2.0.
Yeah, I'm not a big admirer of Chuck Schumer lately, but he is on the right side of this. And the Save America, I love, Republicans are so good on their names of bills too. The Save America bill has just passed the House. And Schumer said, no, it's dead in the water. It won't pass the Senate. And my fingers are crossed because it's like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins clutching her pearls. And those people have already proved themselves not reliable to do the right thing, even when they say, oh, we're going to do the right thing. So I'm going to worry about that until I see if it passes or not.
They usually wait until there's enough, they have enough comfort with something. It's not what it needs to be, but that's what they end up with. The telling thing, there were a couple of telling things over the years that really stood out for me. One was that to get to show up at a poll and be able to vote under some of the states' proposed voter ID laws, you could bring your NRA card. But you could not bring a college ID. That really stood out for me.
Yeah, you think they were aiming for certain party?
I think there was a demographic they were shooting for, so to speak. I don't have an NRA card. Interesting story in the Times, I think it was. Should liberals arm up? There was an opinion piece about it.
I've been wondering about that.
Have any of you considered getting a gun or having gun training?
This is not the first time we've asked this question.
Yeah, I know. I see an increasing willingness because there's a real fear of violence. I think that we are one incident away at a protest caused by the protesters, not ICE, that would bring down martial law. I think they're waiting for it.
I think you would have liked this incident with Preddy to be the moment, but it turned out not to.
Yeah.
It went the wrong way.
It totally
The wrong guy got killed, the wrong side.
Well, do you see Noam or Bondi, for that matter? Do you see either of them facing impeachment for their incredible incompetence and horrible governance?
Not yet.
Not yet. What will it take?
November elections.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a narrative. You know, it's
Impeachment is ineffective. I mean, as long as you don't have 66 votes in the Senate, it's a total waste of time, or 67, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Trump will throw both of them under the
Grandstanding.
bus and they'll be fired. And he'll.
If it comes back, if it
swoop
comes
in
back
to
to hurt
replace the hero.
I think it has to, you know, as you said, they're very good at naming things.
Yeah.
And
The big beautiful bill, Save America bill.
Yeah.
they're
Make
also
America
good
great.
at finding catchphrases for
Yeah.
causes and
Make
those-
America great
and
again.
that rises
Yeah,
in
it
the
does.
country.
It does. And we know that as Democrats, and we
Yeah.
just don't have anybody who does it.
So if you want to get Noam fired,
Trump derangement syndrome all the time against those, the Trump deranged people.
I think John Ossoff's new
Oh, yeah.
is very good.
Yeah, good
Excellent
point.
class.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
John Ossoff is a heck of a good speaker.
He is. He's very good.
Brilliant.
He's the candidate in Georgia, right?
Georgia.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's in the wrong state. I hope he lasts.
Yeah.
He and Warnock, right?
Yes, yes.
And what about Tallarico? I like him.
See,
He's a
more
good
hope.
speaker.
We've come full circle. We're talking about some glimmers of hope in the darkness of Mordor.
and Kelly,
Texas. I think.
Oh, Mark Kelly.
That
Oh,
was-
that's another,
that was
that's what we
my
didn't talk
favorite.
about that as a good
that was a
spot,
good
yeah.
spot.
He had Seth really did not prevail against him in court.
no, and
And
I
the
love
grand jury that said no to Justice Judge Janine. Yeah,
that was great.
no, we're not gonna indict them. Yeah, that was good too.
But it's a lower court.
I
Yeah.
love that the judge, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
None of this is,
it's
none of this is written in
overturned by
stone.
the big nine, or the big, what?
So we've had show and tell. We have done good news, which is totally goes against my grain. This has been a really kind of an innovative
I was shocked when
salon.
you posted it on Facebook. It was like, oh my God, Rosemary, you're being such a member.
Kindergarten.
It's
Such a
true.
ray of
Yes,
sunshine.
always sunny. Yeah, Pollyanna. But I thank you for your participation. Please give us your ideas. If you like this or didn't like it, let us know. If there's other topics you think we should take up as we go forward, we'd like to go forward. Please let us know. You can get hold of us online, in person, grab us afterward. It's great. Thank you.